Hello, my name is Ben Brown, or nordus-mocwyl. Welcome to the video. First, Give Directly is just like my favorite charity. It's give cash to people in extreme poverty, no strings attached. Just, here's money, solve your money problems. It preserves human dignity in a way that no other support does it. So Give Directly is awesome. It's an amazing thing that I get to do this, and the people who are letting me do that are also awesome. So thank you so much to these folks. We're gonna go over a app that I made, a very simple app called Howdy. There's a way to pass messages from one Urbit to another, but it's only in the terminal. In order to see it, you need notifications. Howdy is just like a really lightweight app that bolts on notifications to this standard terminal messaging thing. Through that, we're gonna learn a little bit about hi, a notifications thing, and we'll learn a little bit about dill. The concept of the app is very simple. So if you're curious about making an Urbit app today, this is a really simple example. Not that this is like an app tutorial, it's more of like showing off. I need to talk to some experts before I know if it's like a terrible idea. In fact, hey experts, the way that I set up Howdy is a little bit strange. I'm like watching all of the system log and parsing through everything. I don't know how irresponsible it is to have other people download it. Please let me know how dumb the idea is. Not dumb. Let me know how like expensive. It's very like brute force. So yeah, enjoy getting to know your Urbit just a little bit better through exploring this little toy app that I have. It's a little bit more than a toy. Just slightly non-trivial. Just right above there. Okay, so enjoy that thing. Good morning. Have some coffee with me. Ugh. I got some morning chores out of the way. Let the chickens out to go roam around. Penelope got to run around outside, and we got to feel the slight coolness for today. Not quite cold enough to warrant a long sleeve t-shirt, but enough for me to finally dust it off and put one on, because it's been a scorcher. It's been really hot. Okay, well, first let me catch you up to Lost Cat scenario. What's going on with Nova? Right now, we're not totally sure. We've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of, oh, I'm about to go to the shelter and go pick her up, because it's like the picture of that black cat is like, it looks exactly like Nova. Turns out not to be here. 2 nights ago, my wife and I decided to do a stakeout. So this cat is showing up between 11 and 2 a.m. at night to this house. And so 10 o'clock, we just go like park the car and we wait. Like take shifts falling asleep and watching the deck. Bonkers. Eventually the black cat came out of the shadows. Like my wife's like, there. And she goes and she grabs a treat bag, crawls out the window of the car because we were scared that like the lights and the noise of opening up the door would freak out the cat. And the cat's just eating and sitting there. And takes her time, starts to call out in a soft way so that it gets the cat's attention, but doesn't scare it off. And we call like Nova Toots, eat. That's what we say. But the cat wasn't coming to us. They were just alert and watching. As soon as we got a little closer, like the cat just bolted. So it really depends on personality, but it's not unusual for your cat to just like be in total fright mode, which is kind of what I would expect this one of Nova. But anyway, so now we've set a trap. It's very D&D where it has like a pressure plate in the back. And so you walk in, like they'll step on the pressure plate and then the back will like close on them, and then they're in that like the tube of a cage. That's a humane trap, anyways. So pretty bonkers around here. There was a lot of ups and downs because of this. The expectation of like effort, just like the endless like guilt, and you could always be doing more. Always be doing more. I feel guilty that it's like, well, I don't have a whole lot to give on the margins here because like I'm giving more than I really can each day. Howdy. Howdy is my own personal app. There was a need that was like in the back of my head. It was bothering me. And so I went and made a dumb, very simple little app, which is valuable because that's the point of these videos, is to like show you that you can do stuff on your Urbit. Like you have the wherewithal to think of some stuff and do it. This will be a nice little example of that. Hello, stay with me, buddy. But first, let's set a timer. I'm gonna come over here to my nordus-mocwyl, and oh, look at that. Hello, friend. Awesome. Let me know at 90%. 45 minutes is pretty long. Okay, thank you. Man, that's a lovely little thing. But that does not mean I need to be in a rush. Here I am in my local host thing. I'm gonna actually go to Nordus here. And Nordus is gonna do something kind of fun. Is it fun? Is that what I'm on about? It's so fun, guys. Yeah, this is the way that I wanna do this. In the terminal, you can go bar, that is, bar hi. You can be like, bar hi Zod. It happens a lot. And it's like, oh, hey. A lot of times this is used as like pinging, like, hey, can I actually talk to them? Am I like in communication? You get back like a successful. But with hi also comes an optional message. So now I'm going to ask Zod, who do you work for? And the hi is successful. And if Zod was in its terminal, Zod would get that message back. So now you can write any kind of message. You're like double quote, dokes, any message in a tape. There you go. Let's see that happen by, let's hide my comment. We're going to find out what our name is through this nice little thing on inside the dojo. And we're going to be able to bar hi our comment. First, let's just see if we actually have a connection with them. Waiting. See, can Nordus talk to, oh, hey, look at that. Nordus hide. Am I not hiding back? That could be an issue. Let's go in a reverse direction. Hi, Nordus. Our guys aren't talking to each other. Well, that was unexpected. Oh, there we go. Hi. Hi was successful. We figured out, like, through the network, we were able to, like, ask around and be like, hey, do you know this guy? Do you know this guy? Where can I find him? Oh, he's over here. Okay, let me send him a thing. And then boom, 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 boom. And there we go. All of the highs were successful. Now, let's send nordus-mocwyl was, there we go. Hi was successful. There we go. Hi can come with a message, but the trick is, like, well, how are you going to know about it? Like, who's going to tell you? You're going to sit here watching the terminal? You're just going to watch the terminal tick by? No, of course not. This is what howdy is for. Howdy is working to, like, surface these things to describe itself. Yeah. Howdy is hi message notifications. Nordus doesn't have howdy on it because it's experimental and like it might not be beneficial in the end. Nordus doesn't have howdy on their ship, but my comet does. And so let's see how howdy do. Nordus has successfully sent a message to the comet. This is our comet's thing. So I can come into the notifications and oh my gosh, look at there. nordus-mocwyl says, let's see how howdy do. That's it. If you click on it, it's kind of lame. It sends you to the terminal. The terminal is totally wiped clean by the time you get there. So you don't have the message. You don't have the person's name right there. You could almost imagine going farther and being like, oh, if you click on howdy, instead of going to the terminal, it sends you to a page that has like a place where you could send those messages, or like you like collect per planet those messages, and you just have like a really primitive direct messaging application. So if somebody has howdy, if they get a message, they get a notification. Let's look at how that works. I guess we'll just keep track. Like there are hi messages, and if you like hi Pat P with like a message, it's like you're going to want notification. Bloop. How are we doing on time? Okay, cool. We are that much done. Yeah, this part could get sticky, but we'll see. Let's go into the alt comment who has the Howdy app, and let's take a look. This is Howdy. The first thing that you do to understand an app is best place to look first is to go to the structure file, and you will notice there is actually no Howdy structure file because Howdy doesn't have to know or think about anything. So it doesn't have to remember anything, so it doesn't have anything. But it does need all of these different structure files to function correctly. Same story with Mark, same story with library, and let's look at the app proper. This is definitely like a lower intermediate kind of idea, but we'll go gentle, we'll go slow. I will go over the things that need to get over. Sometimes I go by Nordbird. You might have caught on to that. Howdy watches the event log. I'm not sure about that. Via dill, we can set any event to trigger an action. In this case, we trigger a Hark notification on landscape when anyone sends us hi with an optional message. And I talk about how the use case could expand. We're importing those things like the structure. So if you notice, I had all of those structure files before, with the exception of docket, which is like on its doing its own thing. All of these are basically required so that I can just import Hark. So Hark needs groups. Groups needs meta, epic, the old group store, and metadata store. That's how I have this kind of proliferation of dependencies and stuff. Maybe that could be reduced and I could just become independent. Bring in Hark. Hark comes in with all of its buddies. These are the libraries, like the debug library and default agent, which are useful for setting default actions, because this will do a bunch of default things because it's very simple. State stuff, literally nothing is in state. Nothing. That's what that is. Nothing in state. Doesn't need to be complicated. Doesn't even need a transition. These are arms, and they're like on something. So if something happens, like on a save, somebody saves, what should I do? On a load, what should I do? On arvo, so say the system stuff is asking, has bubbled up some request for me, what should I do? Oh, here, this is a little bit easier to see. So including the ones above and these 6, a standard Gall agent is defined with these 10 arms, and they're like on something that's happened, right? If you get a poke, do this. If you get a watch, do this. If you get a leave, do this. If somebody's trying to peek at something, do this. If another agent, another app is trying to do something, do this. If something fails, do this. There's 10 of these on arms, and let's step through, like, obviously, we're only doing 4 out of 10. Otherwise, it just goes to default, which is our default agent up here. We brought in the default agent, which it does the most basic thing possible. We take that default agent, we give it stuff that it needs, and we redefine it as def. This could be default if we wanted it to be. And if that was the case, then all of these things they need to be defined as default, but that's what's happening there. So if anything happens that's relevant to these arms, it just does the default, which is usually nothing. So let's look at the 4 things that aren't just doing nothing. So there is on init, on initiation. So when this thing first comes online, what should it do? It's a unique event. It only occurs when it first starts up, or say you just you totally destroy it. In the Urbit world, you call it nuke it. So if you nuke it and it comes back alive, then you'll go back through the on init arm. Well, here on init, basically, you return a potentially transformed version of your app, which is referred to as this, and you return some actions, some things that you want to see happen outside. This will be relevant, so I pass. Let's see, maybe it's worth doing this kind of. I'm gonna bring back this symbology here. Your Urbit surrounded by pin. Yeah, this is important. You'll need to understand veins to understand what's going on. So we've got our A, B, C, D, E, G, J, K, L. Nope. Oh, there's an I. I, J, K, L. This one is going to be relevant to this guy. So this one is dill. If you go to base, system, all the veins, you have these veins right here, right? Ames, Bane, Clay, Dill, Air, Gall, Iris, Jail, Con, Lick. What matters for Howdy here is actually our request to Dill. So we're asking Dill for logs. What does that mean? Yeah, here we are. So we're at system kernel dill references the API reference. If you're going to ask dill for logs, it is to watch the system out. While subscribed, you'll receive each piece of output in a logs gift as it occurs. What it returns is dill does not immediately return anything, but will give you logs gifts each time the system output occurs. A logs gift looks like logs told. Here's what I told you. And told comes in 3 flavors. We've asked dill for the logs. That's what this does. That is a pivotal part of the app. And then honestly, this is a default stereotypical on save, and this is a default stereotypical on load. So that leaves one thing. There is on arvo. Just real quick, I need to explain dill. like, okay, cool, there's this alphabetical thing and it has some clarity and understanding, but what's dill? What does dill do? And dill is the terminal driver vein. Keyboard events and the like from Unix are received from dill. Dill sends things back to the runtime to be displayed in the Unix terminal. All veins deal with like in and out, like input output, like outside the Urbit, you have things that are trying to get in, and they can get in and they can get out through certain veins, right? It's like, oh, getting in and out through the lick vein, getting in and getting out from the aims vein. This is why the term vein, right? Like you have like is that how a weather vane goes? Sploop, sploop, right? Yeah, okay. So in Dill's case, it's all about like the terminal, like which we have over here. So like this terminal is popped up in my laptop, and I can I can interact with it. Interacting with my Urbit through the terminal via dill. There we go. And that response comes back through dill. So this is from the terminal going to dill. Dill does stuff inside of Arvo. From the terminal, things happen inside of there, and then things pop back out in the terminal. And so dill is doing I/O for the terminal. Bloop, bloop. And so what we've done when we asked dill to send us all of the logs is we've basically said, like, anytime you see anything come up on screen, send it here. Like this air clogged, whatever, that's coming to me. That's cool. It's maybe not that cool. Back in the app, at the top of my app here, I kind of claim that we're watching the event log. And that's not totally true. We're only watching like the terminal out, like Dill's logs, Dill's outputs. But the event log is quite the topic. Almost deserves its own like Urbit is scenario, which, given our time constraints, maybe I just shouldn't. This is not actually accurate. We watch the howdy watches the terminal output via dill. There we go. Not the event log. The event log is this mystical thing. We'll have to get back to that later. So this is the last arm that is doing anything that we're going to look at. So on-arvo. So if you get an event from Arvo, coming back over to our screen recording, generally I say your Urbit here in the center. If this picture is an accurate picture, I would have to call that center part. That's Arvo. And it's you could also call this Arvo, maybe? It's the computer. It's the Urbit. Arvo's the thing inside that's navigating the core of your Urbit. Some people want to talk to other people here, and that needs to talk over here. All those kinds of things. And this little guy needs to get updated, and so you do all kinds of things. Anyways, Arvo is this centerpiece surrounded by the veins, and it coordinates them talking to each other because they're sending things like this pass card all around, making requests of each other, making statements about what's happening. Arvo handles that. So if you get something from Arvo, which is to say any of the other veins, if any of the other veins are sending you something, if you're getting something from a vein, it's from on-arvo. So in our case, we look at dill. Dill is going to send us a thing. It's going to come on the path system out because that's just what I called it. I called it system out. And so it's going to show up on that, but it's going to say dill on it. Hey, this is from dill. Here are my logs, and this is the text that's there. That's what we were told here, that if we do watch the system out, what's going to return is a logs told. So it'd be dill has told you a logs told, and that told can be a text, which is just a tape. No return. This grabs the actual text from the log. So this is just labeling, this is from dill, this is dill's logs, it's a text thing, and this is that thing. So I go and I grab that and rename it log because I don't want to keep referring to that. And I have to use parsing stuff. So when you receive a hi message, hi message is always preceded by a space. We actually call that ace, we give it an actual name. A squiggle for the name, and then also we call that a colon, and then I think another ace there. Gal ace sig. When I get something from dill, when I get one of dill's logs, I can look through it step by step attempt to decide what it is and what I should do about that. And whenever you're going through text and you're going step by step through it, that's called parsing. And it is a tedious process. It's got to be one of the most confusing things when it comes to making something on Urbit. This is my parsing logic I'm looking for. So because it's going to be like this guy, I look for the gal, ace, sig, a collection of alphabet letters, and then just the colon, and then a collection of like printable letters. Parsing is way too confusing. It's really not worth like talking about how I scan through the log, and it's a very rigid pattern that I'm looking for. And then I am able to grab what I catch in the parse, turn it back into a pat p so that it's like a regular ship, and then I can grab the message. If the message is empty, that's what this what sig. This isn't a quick, easy video at all. I'm making a huge mistake. What sig, if this thing message is empty, if it's nothing, then do path A. If it's something, then continue on with path B. I don't want to get a notification if the message is nothing. If who we get it from is the same as ourselves, also do nothing. And then here, this is valuable right here, but we'll start at the bottom. In the end, we will send out our own event. We will pass out something that we want to have happen. So we want to talk to one of the agents. So that's going to be another app. That's going to be the Hark agent. There's a Hark agent out there that handles the notifications. So everything in here, Hark does that. So I want to talk to them and I want to send them what they need to know. I want to give them a poke. And so they'll have like an on poke, and then they'll handle what they do. All of this stuff up here is just like a preamble to like stack what I need, like, or nest what I need inside this thing so that I can just like, in the end, have it stack into a cage and be like, okay, well, poke this cage to Hark. This stuff, I don't totally understand. I did not build that myself. I actually totally copied another developer, and that is from Ahoy here. Yeah, so in the Ahoy app, he's got a working, I totally like copied it and brought it in because Mid and Fabler, he's on top of things. Let's just do this. It's all in from Mid and Fabler. Ahoy. There we go. So yeah, that is it. I think it's amazing that I can like send messages right here in the terminal in this like super basic way. I think it's cool that it's like, it's a part of your Urbit. It's a part of everyone else's Urbit, because it's like, it's a guarantee is on everybody's Urbit, and it's there. You just gotta be able to see it. That's what Howdy was going to do. Is just like, well, let's pop it up to a notification. Oh, you have to hit Option to select this? Well, that'd be helpful. And that's how Howdy works. Be cautious though. That is one thing I do want to warn about. The whole idea of having every single dill logs be rummaged through, like every single one of them, be like it gets sent to this agent and then rummaged through. My expectation is that it's like expensive and you wouldn't want to do this on every single app that comes out. But that's the way that I saw that I could do it. Or at least the way I saw that I could do it with an app like this. I'm just a guy. I'm just a dude. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next section or maybe the next video. Bye.